Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes Reacts. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm the dark secret of the Office Blokes.
Really?
Knew it.
What that is then?
Knew it.
Yeah, I don't know what the secret is though.
Well, it's a secret, that's why.
Secret, mate. That's why you don't know.
Is that why it's dark as well?
Yeah, very dark. We are the Office Blokes, a couple of other YouTube channels, Patreon page, social media, all that good stuff. Merch. Looks alright.
Yep, it's good.
Link in the description. I'll take you everywhere you need to go. 10 Dark Secrets of the USSR.
Imagine there's more than 10.
These 10
are the best.
The tip of the iceberg, I would guess, but...
Is this going to be the USSR, as in when Russia became a thing? You know, this is going to be historical.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I'm wondering.
They
It's
try and
not
combat-
going to be like 2 years ago Putin did this, and it's like, well, that's Russia, isn't it?
That's Russia, isn't it? Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
USSR.
Anyway, we'll get into it. This could be a very interesting one. Are we going to do the Russian roulette? Is it going to be... Russian roulette's a different thing.
I don't know.
Bears, AK-47s, vodka.
No, I'm thinking that with this, I think it'd be military secrets, military affairs. I think things are taking over.
Spying, sort of like
spying,
episodes, maybe.
Yeah, people who
things
might have
like that.
died, and it's a bit suspect.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I watched there's a musical that's just come out on that Andrei Litvinenko, the one that got poisoned.
A musical.
Really?
To be fair, mate, I watched a little bit of it last night. It looks really good.
Wow, how
yeah,
bizarre.
yeah,
I'd imagine
Strange.
I would imagine there's a lot of violins in it.
yeah.
And songs.
And the guy who plays him, in the musical, I was watching. I was thinking, is that him? He looks that much like
Oh,
him.
does he?
Yeah,
Wow.
Interesting. I'd have to see some of that.
Just have to shave his
Sounds a
head
bit-
to make him
he has
look
done.
like-
That's what he's done. He's got the whole look of him.
Anyway, let's get into it. 10 Dark Secrets of the USSR. State-sponsored drugging, Olympics, stuff like that.
Ooh,
That's what I'm thinking.
maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe.
10 Dark Secrets of the USSR. Number 10. The Kishtim Nuclear Disaster. The disaster at Kishtim was the worst nuclear accident ever when it took place in 1957, and has since only been surpassed by Chernobyl and Fukushima. Long term, an estimated 250,000 people were seriously affected, yet the incident remained a secret. The disaster on the 29th of September 1957 was caused by an explosion at the Mayak facility after a cooling system in a buried nuclear waste tank failed. It contaminated an area of 20,000 square kilometers
Wow.
and forced the evacuation of 10,000 people, who weren't given an explanation. Staff at the plant were banned from asking questions or mentioning the accident. Medical records of locals were hidden, and the fate of the cleanup crews is unknown. The disaster only became widely known in 1976 when dissident Soviet researcher Zhores Medvedev published a report about it in the UK press. Even after this, the USSR denied it until 1989. Number 9. Secret Cities. Throughout the Cold War, the USSR wanted to keep its most advanced scientific, military and nuclear developments a secret. Completely understandable. However, the lengths it went to were quite impressive. Across the country, there were a number of closed cities where these advanced facilities were housed. These cities were closed to foreigners, and even Soviets required permission to enter if they didn't live in them. Some cities were left off maps or deliberately placed in the wrong location. These cities housed up to 100,000 residents, and some, like Akademgorodok, even enjoyed relatively more freedom than the rest of the USSR. Even today, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, Russia still maintains over 40 closed cities, including Ozyorsk, where the 1957 Kishtim nuclear disaster occurred. Number 8.
That's pretty crazy,
Wow.
isn't it?
Really crazy.
It's definitely clever.
That nuclear accident as well, keeping it quiet for 20 years. That's some going as well, isn't it?
When I was younger and didn't have a beard and I had a little bit more hair, people used to say I used to look like Medvedev, who was the prime minister in between Putin's two rulings.
Oh, really?
No, yeah.
Everyone used to come up to me and go, you look like Medvedev.
Da. Yeah, it's just if you got your testing facility, so you build a civilian population around it.
Yeah.
There's your protection from, just indiscriminate bombings and things like
I
that.
think those days are gone now, aren't they, with satellite and things like that, spying. I think sort of like America or anywhere else could easily find them these days.
Bigger
couldn't they?
problems now.
There's still
That we don't know about.
There's always going to be
Yeah.
a lot of collateral damage when you
Shit goes on we don't know about.
Yeah.
You only have to look at the cathedral incident.
Salisbury.
Salisbury Cathedral incident.
You mean where
Yeah.
they were looking at the tower? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's iconic worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not reading
tallest
nothing
steeple.
else.
Tallest steeple in Salisbury.
I've been actually. It's nice.
It's very
It's
nice.
a nice cathedral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
The smallpox accident. In 1971, the USSR apparently conducted an open-air test of a biological weapon on an island in the Aral Sea. While there is a possibility it was a natural outbreak, a Soviet general has indicated it was related to testing. The testing caused an outbreak in the nearby population, and the deadly virus killed a woman and 2 children. The outbreak was contained thanks to a huge effort over 2 weeks that saw 50,000 people receive a vaccine against smallpox. Neither the test nor the outbreak have ever been acknowledged officially, and it only came to light in 2002, when the Monterey Institute of International Studies researched into Soviet documents.
Wow.
Number 7. Valentin Bondarenko. Valentin Bondarenko was a Soviet cosmonaut who sadly lost his life in 1961 during a training exercise. He became trapped in a low-pressure altitude chamber that caught fire, leaving him with fatal third-degree burns all over his body. The cover-up began almost immediately. Initially, Bondarenko survived the accident and, according to Dr. Vladimir Golyakovsky, was treated under the name Sergeyev Ivanov. His resulting death wasn't publicly acknowledged. He wasn't buried as a cosmonaut, and his death was withheld from other trainee cosmonauts to keep up morale. However, as one of the original 20 cosmonauts selected by the USSR for their space program, Bondarenko had appeared in public photos. These were subsequently airbrushed to remove him. His death didn't become known in the West until 1980, and it was finally admitted by the USSR in 1986. Number 6.
What have you got?
Unbelievable.
I was going to say, what have you got to gain? But obviously, it's
Kudos, isn't it? And the standing on the world stage, isn't it? You know, they're trying
propaganda, isn't it?
yeah, that's exactly what it is. Propaganda.
But poor guy. I mean,
know,
it doesn't
yeah.
matter to him once he's dead, but, you know, astronauts are heroes, aren't they? They should be.
That's what they should be.
Imagine
Yeah,
just
yeah.
being disappeared. That's nuts.
The Novocherkassk Massacre. In 1962, in the Soviet city of Novocherkassk, workers at the electric locomotive building factory went on strike, angry at price hikes and wage cuts. This soon grew into a more widespread protest involving around 7,000 workers who marched through the streets. Soviet troops opened fire on the protesters, killing at least 28 civilians. Their bodies were buried in secret graves by the authorities. 7 ringleaders were later executed. The city was placed under curfew, tanks occupied the streets for weeks, and all mention of the killing at Novocherkassk was hidden from the public within days of the incident. It did not become public knowledge until the 1990s, although knowledge of the incident reached the West in the 70s. Number 5. Chernobyl. The nuclear disaster at Chernobyl in 1986 is hardly a secret, but the Soviet Union certainly tried to keep it that way. The scale of the meltdown is well known. A reactor at the Ukrainian plant exploded, releasing radiation equivalent to 500 Hiroshima bombs. However, the official death toll of those killed in the immediate aftermath stands at just 31 people, although some estimates claim total deaths resulting from radiation exposure could be as high as 93,000.
Wow.
The disaster was kept secret from the world, and it only came to light when a Swedish nuclear plant over 1,000 kilometers away picked up the radiation, forcing the USSR to admit what had happened 2 days later. However, in 2021, new documents were released which show Soviet authorities covered up faults at the plant before the disaster. For example, a release of radiation in 1982 was kept secret by the KGB to, and I quote, prevent panic and provocative rumours. Number 4.
Maybe just fix the issues.
Hell, wouldn't it, really?
Happen.
There was actually, I think it might have been last year, there was a programme on that, like a film. It was really, I don't know if you've seen it, but it was really, really good.
Was it
Chernobyl?
It was like a 3-part thing.
It's called
wasn't it?
Chernobyl, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it
On
was.
Amazon?
Yeah. Was it a,
No, it's on there. It's been on a few platforms now.
was it a series, was it? I can't
It's a
remember.
series. It was like a
right.
7-part series, something like that.
Did you see it? Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's really
Yeah,
good.
it's-
really, really good.
I know someone who's been.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know you're not supposed to, but you pay kind of black market guides and they
Yeah.
take you a tour around the city. You see all the iconic things like the merry-go-round
Yeah.
and
It's a
stuff.
Bert Kreischer.
Yeah, Bert Kreischer. Bert Kreischer's the tour guide.
Yeah. He'd be a great tour guide.
The Chamber. The Chamber, Lab Number 1, Lab Number 12, Lab X. All some of the nicknames given to a top-secret Soviet laboratory that specialised in developing deadly...
If I was pouring that in there, I'd fucking miss.
It'd be all over
be
the
all
place.
my hands and everything with you.
I think that must be you then, because it's going over the side
I know,
there.
yeah.
I think. I won't get any all in there. Absolutely no chance.
It's just going to be that infographics one that we did. That
I was gonna
the
say about
sleep experiment.
And they all went mad inside it and ripped each other apart.
Well, that wasn't true though, was it?
No.
And I think that was Russia, not the USSR.
So you're wrong all along, all can't say, Dave.
When I was watching it, my perception was it was in like the 80s or the 70s or
yeah.
something they were talking about. So it would have been USSR, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
Yeah.
it would. Yeah.
Poisons. Poisons that could kill without a trace. In this endeavour, they were repeatedly successful. One KGB defector claims to have killed a prominent writer using a cyanide mist, spraying the target in a stairwell using a canister hidden in a newspaper. The infamous assassination of dissident Georgy Markov in 1978, using a poison-tipped umbrella, was also apparently the work of the chamber, which had developed the ricin poison. The lab, initially set up by Vladimir Lenin, is thought to still exist today. It was so secret that when Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev asked for a briefing on its work in 1988, he was refused by the KGB. Number 3.
There was
Wow.
a serial killer in America, Stanley Kuklinski, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was his dad's name. He's the Iceman. They've made movies about him and stuff. And if his book's to be believed, which, is a really interesting read, he met another killer who gave him a cyanide spray, and he started using that for a bit. And he just walked up to someone and just missed him in the face like that, and looks like natural causes. They just fall over.
There was the Korean girl. There was the
the one that was brainwashed.
the airport. She did it. She was North Korean, and she.
But she thought she was saving someone or something.
No, she killed. She sprayed someone on him at the airport, didn't she?
Yeah.
Was it in Singapore? Was it Changi or something
like
like
a
that?
cloth or something?
Yeah.
Wipe the cloth on the
Was
face.
it Changi at Singapore? Something like that. It was. And he was a North Korean relative of.
I think he was like an uncle of Kim Jong Un or something.
Yeah.
And then there was Litvinenko, and then there was the guy now who's the opposition at Putin, who they arrested and put in jail, and he was poisoned, went to Germany, and
Of course, yeah.
got his men. I can't remember his name. And then there was the two people down in
Salisbury.
Yeah,
the father and daughter, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, someone else actually died as
Someone
well,
died,
didn't
they?
they?
It was perfume, didn't they?
Yeah, that's
Pictures of
right.
perfume
Someone's
picked
not
it up and
related
sprayed
to
it. Imagine how unfortunate would she be?
I mean, chance of the billion, isn't it? That, I mean, God.
Balaclava submarine base. In 1957, the Soviet Union built a top-secret submarine base in Balaclava, in the city of Sevastopol in Crimea. The location could not be seen from open water, and the base itself was hidden under 120 meters underground and was built to withstand a nuclear attack.
It's Austin Powers, isn't it?
It is a little bit, yeah.
Proper that.
Yeah.
Even a direct hit from a bomb 5 times more powerful than that dropped on Hiroshima wouldn't destroy the base. Incidentally, the Soviets also used to train combat dolphins in Sevastopol, using them to protect harbours and detect mines and subs. Meanwhile, the base housed a number of submarines that would have allowed the USSR to strike back at the USA in the event of all-out nuclear war. The base even survived the collapse of the USSR, and the last Russian subs didn't leave until 1996.
Wow.
Number 2.
What is it now?
Nedlin disaster. On October 24th, 1960, the launch of a top-secret Soviet rocket missile ended in disaster when, on the launch pad, its engine accidentally fired, igniting the fuel and causing a huge explosion. Over 100 people were killed, some instantly vaporized by the blast. Others died while attempting to flee, the tarmac melting under their feet.
Wow.
The resulting fire lasted 2 hours, and the initial explosion could be seen 50 kilometers away. Despite the scale of the disaster, it wasn't revealed to the public. Instead, Marshal Mitrofan Nedlin, the person who oversaw the catastrophe, was said to have died in a plane crash. The family members of those who
Should have stopped meddling.
Oh.
died were told not to reveal anything about what happened. It wasn't until 30 years later in 1989, in a report published by Russian magazine Ogoniok, that the truth was publicly revealed. Number 1. Holodomor. In the early 1930s, the USSR was embarking on a policy of collectivization, which involved peasants giving up their individual farms and joining collective ones instead. The policy led to a drop in agricultural output and caused widespread resentment. Protests in the Ukraine also fed Stalin's paranoia about the region splitting from the USSR. With food scarce and starvation already widespread, Soviet policies made the famine far worse. Grain requisitions were increased, large swathes of Ukrainians were placed on lists prohibiting them from getting food, and travel outside the region was forbidden. Between 1931 and 1934, an estimated 3.9 million Ukrainians died. Western journalists were told not to report the famine, and it wasn't mentioned by officials, and in 1937, a census revealing the decimation was suppressed, including having the census people killed. So those were 10 dark secrets of the USSR.
That's scary stuff, that, isn't it?
Isn't
Just
it?
4 million people
wow.
erased, just like that.
Just like that.
When you look at it, it's not dating back that far.
No.
Some of them aren't
And
they?
some of the shit you read now, it still looks like it's carrying on. Still continuing, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I can
At the same
imagine.
sort of levels.
Yeah,
I
there is.
don't think human nature changes. So just, 100 years ago is not a lot of time when you think about it. This stuff's been going on for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Even the Second World War, it's only 70 odd years ago now, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is, yeah.
So, it's still in us.
Yes, you can definitely see things like that happening in Russia still, can't you? In China, maybe. North Korea.
I see more cyber now.
I think, it's definitely cyber, but in China, they do have they've got concentration camps at the moment, haven't they? The Uyghur Muslims and
yeah, of course,
a couple of million people in internment camps and stuff. I don't think it changes, to be honest. It's sad to say it, but I don't think
it's always worrying, though. So all it takes is one head case, isn't it? Who leads who leads a superpower like Russia?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, there's been a few of those around other countries in the world, not the smaller countries, but like say, if you get someone like that in a country like Russia or China, then we could all be in trouble.
Happened in China, didn't it? What was the leader? Was it Mao?
Chairman Mao.
Where something like 12 million Chinese died or something, or was it more?
Not sure.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Don't know the history of that.
But, don't quote me on that.
It's not the sort of history I follow.
Yeah, I think it's tens of millions. There was one of them that, it was the same sort of thing.
There was quite a lot that I've heard about them Russian or Soviet issues that they've had. There's quite a lot you've read about over the years. We relied on some of them.
Yeah.
But there's some fascinating ones there, which I'm going to have to dig deeper on.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just the ones that have come out as well. You just wonder how many things haven't come out still. There's probably still a lot of things.
Astronaut, cosmonaut.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
One's Russian, one's American.
Fair enough.
Anyway, it was very informative. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell. Catch you on the next one.
Cheers. Guys.